not the whole history of the NEB, because some of you know even more than me. But I would like to recall what has been achieved from 2020 in the main lines and what we are very proud of. So you know that the NEB was launched in 2020 directly by the president. It was a project to accompany the repeal with a bottom-up approach which puts together inclusion, sustainability and beauty, as was recalled. And it was co-created in the NEB community, which has now reached over 2,000 member organizations, and we are very proud of having co-created this policy, because this is also a very feature in the European Commission landscape of policies, and we keep for creating and developing really together with the NEB community. We have funded bottom-up initiatives and for over 700 projects across Europe, but also beyond. As you know, there were 9 funding programs mobilized with a total of 1.4 billion allocated to the NEB in the current European financial framework, so up to the end of next year. So we still need to spend quite a number of this money, and there were also tools that has developed. One is the NEB Compass, which was also recalled this year, which clarifies also what are the values that face was of the NEB, and also tries to accompany project developers to develop methodologies. And that last but not least, there was a lot of effort in sharing best practices, communicating the NEB, and I would like just to report the NEB Festival, which takes place every 3 years, and it's really a moment of not only of celebration, but also sharing knowledge and building the future together. Now, the NEB had to rethink itself in the frame of the new commission, of course, and also to somehow repackage its strategic future within the priorities of the current commission. And here you can see how the NEB contributes to some of the main political priorities in terms of sustainable prosperity, scaling up innovation, participation in local democracy. There was an initiative adopted at the end of last year, where the democracy shield, where the NEB is mentioned as contributing to local democracy. And then last but not least, social inclusion and affordability. And this brings me to one of the key priorities of this commission, which is tackle the housing crisis. And the NEB is placed as a key contributor of these efforts, these joint EU efforts. And I really like the sentence and this paragraph taken from the State of the Union of the President last year, because it shows that the housing crisis is really a crisis that affects the communities in Europe. Is that a home is not just 4 walls and the roof, it's safety, warmth, a place for family and friends. Yeah, so the housing crisis is a social crisis. It tears at your social fabric. And this is why the President has announced that at the end of last year, there would have been a housing package with affordable housing plans at its core, to make sure that there was a European effort to make housing more affordable, more sustainable, and of better quality. And I think all of you can recognize here the 3 values of the NEB, which are also the values which I for the affordable housing strategy. So this is what was adopted at the end of last year, and this is one where a lot of our energy is going into, and also why many of you haven't met us maybe in the last months of last year, because we really put a lot of efforts in developing the strategy for the future, which was adopted as part of the housing package on the 16th of December. So there was this Chabot communication, which is called the European Affordable Housing Plan, accompanied by a housing construction strategy, which I suppose many of you know, and which also mentions the NEB Academy. And there was also guidelines on stated rules. Here is where we fit. So we have adopted a commission communication on the NEB, which is called From Vision to Implementation, and a proposal for council recommendation. And those 2 documents come together. The communication is really where we set the vision for the NEB, the strategy for the future, and the priorities. We describe the tools that the Commission will put in place and the initiatives, and how we plan to mobilize also the funding and support stakeholders goals to reach the market. It's a commission-led document, but that's why we wanted to accompany it with a proposal for council recommendation. And I would like to make clear that this at the end will be a member state's own document. It has just started the adoption process in the council. The Cyprus presidency is very committed to have it adopted before the end of the presidency, so for sure before end of June. And it's a document that for us it was an invitation to the member states to act more, to embed in the NEB national and regional frameworks, and also to strengthen the multi-level governance, which is one of the key principles of the NEB. So we really would like the member states to act as a bridge to the European and the local level, and to ensure not only a governance which goes across levels, but also across policies and funding instruments, as the name is so cross-cutting that this is extremely important. So the key message from both of these instruments is that we want to scale up the NEB, we want to move from inspiration and experimentation to bring impact on the ground and to make the systemic change that we have promised. The two documents are structured along 3 objectives and 4 enablers. 3 objectives that will not be a big surprise to you. It's because it's continuation, but it's also strengthening some parts of the work of the NEB and really channeling in a direction that puts the NEB as an enabler of the clean transition. And that's why the first objective is to enhance circularity, sustainability, and innovation in the built environment. So you see that the built environment remains the key focus of the NEB, even if we aim at also inspiring other sectors to take similar approaches. We have strong links with the circular economy and with the bioeconomy. And Andrea recalls that there was also the adoption of the bioeconomy by the Commission at the end of last year. So we are modularly reinforcing each other to, in particular, scale up innovative solutions and reinforce community resilience and to natural disasters. The second objective is to empower citizens, is linked to democracy, participation. So to empower citizens to participatory processes to really be involved in the regeneration of the neighborhood sector, urban and rural environments. And the third one is to harness and make sure we benefit from the creative, innovative power of the creative and cultural sectors in order to really accompany the green transition also with this power. And now a short presentation on the 4 enablers. The first one, as I said, is the NEB community, which is accompanying us throughout the process that the President Versailles has announced that will be enlarged, will become more representative of the strategic approach we want to take. So we're also more business, but also more representatives of the housing ecosystem. The second one, you know it, and I will go deeper later. So I will not stay here. And then we have, of course, funding and governance, which is very much linked to the proposal for the recommendations. So where we want the member states to act and to help us structure this governance better, and also in terms of utilizing all the funding opportunities better. And fourth but not last is the international dimension, where we want to take a more strategic approach and build on the seeds that we have started to plant in the past years. So what is the NEB Academy? And the NEB Academy, as you know, was launched by the president in the event that was recalled in 2022. I was at the event, so I'm very proud that I was there, even if I wasn't yet in the GRC. So I could witness the very launch of the academy, and he was focusing on upskilling and reskilling of workers of the construction ecosystem. By now, in this communication, we announced that the academy will become even bigger. So it's a scale-up academy. We announced that it will become the core for the infrastructure of the NEB for knowledge, safe experimentation, and skills development. The focus will remain on the built environment, but as I said, with the idea to also inspire other sectors and to also be creating a vision for the possible use of the same approach in other sectors. It will build on the work that was initiated by all of you, but also by researchers, universities, where there was a lot of pioneer work to foster new models of education change and to connect knowledge with business applications. And we aim with the NEB Academy to really make the link between the different funding streams that we have, which go from research and innovation until the, let's say, rollout component. And this is how we call these true strengths, which need to be better connected and also create a more coherent framework in terms of allowing everybody to follow the whole life cycle of a NET project. This is the vision that was that we have in mind, and it's also with a nice image created by Solem. Actually, so we were credits for that. So we have a vision where there is a closed loop learning loop, which starts with, of course, with the knowledge and research done on different projects. So in order to envision, connect, reflect on the integrated approach to the NET bricks. It needs to bring this knowledge to the to be able to skill to be the source of learning for the relevant traits, and this needs also to move to the innovation. It needs to serve as a it's also be the innovation and business development in an experimentation environment that can at the end also go back to the knowledge and fit this closed loop. Now I will say a few words of what I have in mind on these three components, starting with knowledge and research. Of course, I can start a bit in any part of the loop because it's a circle. But I think we need to start by saying that we want to really, what was done in the past was to create a lot of seeds and a lot of projects, and now we really want to take all the lessons that we have that was generated through these projects and make sure that it's structured in a way that is accessible also to everybody for use. So that's why the target audience is not only pure researchers, but also really and community members, practitioners, professionals, business, public authorities, but also other possible stakeholders of those who want to learn from what the NEB does in practice. We have a number of actions which have planned, and they are mostly funded through our NEB facility research and innovation components of Horizon Europe. So of course we want to expand this research component of the NEB. There are already ongoing publications, and also we are contacted by several PhD students and they want to interview us. So it's great to see that the lab is becoming a concept for research, and this is something we really want to promote and expand. The second point is the knowledge hub for resultant impact. This is an action which is funded through Horizon Europe to make sure that there is a common hub where we had all the learnings from the projects and which is accessible to everybody. We have, I must say, complex also work ongoing, which is to produce NEB indicators, and all of you who have worked in practice on the NEB know how difficult this exercise is, because of course the NEB cannot be assessed only through quantitative indicators, but we need also to tap into qualitative indicators in order to assess the impact that the NEB initiatives are producing on the graphs and how the transformative change that we want to trigger is actually happening. So that's the complexity. We would have a first test through the Horizon Europe projects, but with the idea to expand it to also cover other FAPET projects. And then the last but not least is what we would like to launch a catalog of good practices and blueprints. We will start with the affordable and resilient housing to really bring the state-of-the-art solutions also as replicable solutions around Europe. The second stream is capacity building and skills development. I don't need to dive too much into this because this is the main focus of today's great conference, and this, of course, the objective is to bring a translate research into practical skills, develop three frameworks and learning pathways in order to be NEB-related training across Europe. The target audience, as was shown by the many different activities ongoing, is not only workers and students, but also national institutions, project developers, public authorities. And here, the main actions are really to upskilling and reskilling, so this couple the work and that until now, but also to increase the university business partnerships to develop skill set and competencies. And here we really have the crucial help of the EIT and the GIGS. And the third stream is innovation and business development, which is a part where we really want to put a stronger stress on the next phase of the NEP, and to really be able to enable experimentation environments, provide advisory services and toolboxes, and then in order to try NEP blueprints, we create to target SMEs, startups, and the businesses who want to develop and move to sustainable practices, who want to support the project which had emerged from the research and innovation have facility part of the research and innovation part of a facility. So the ones who have started with the initial innovations, we want to support that to really reach the market and be able to scale up their innovations. And here the key actions we have is innovation pilots and create acceleration pathways in order to really accompany startups and scale up innovative solutions. This again, we tap into the crucial work of the EIT, of the KICS, also of the EIT community NEB. And we are setting up an advisory hub because we want to find a way to support matchmaking between especially small grassroots projects and possible investors. This is something that the European Parliament is funded, and we really hope he can help, because the grassroots projects are the ones who are really striving to find the stable investment. And then last but not least is the NEB labs. So those are bottom-up experimentation laboratory which are created by and from the NEB community members, and those will be also part of developing the solutions that will allow us to reach this innovation part. So this is the picture on the NEB Academy. I put more than what I wanted to put before, because yesterday by talking to you, I realized that there is still a lot of questions on the future of the NEB Academy. So I wanted to explain more what we have in mind. But of course, there are still a lot of things that we need to develop together, and that's the idea, to continue with the work done, but and to co-develop the NEB Academy with all the partners. Now I just say a couple of advertisements. So the first one is on the NEB prizes. In case you don't know, the call for the NEB prizes has been opened, and we will actually close on the 17th of March. Those are easier applications definitely than Horizon Europe, so please do apply. Deep heart of it, and it should be still possible with the 17th of March and state previous. So we will be encourage you to apply. It's not only the prizes, but it's also the boost for small municipalities, which is again part of pilot action from the Parliament to support on the grassroots projects. And then the second advertisement, I think you know by now that there will be the NEB Festival in Brussels, but not only, also in signed events in around all Europe between the 9th and the 13th of June. The program will be finally made public in the coming days, so be ready next week for the publication on our website. So we already hope you are already planning to come, and if not, just make your ticket. Thank you very much.